It's actually crazy to think about how quickly a team's future and the outlook of their future can change. And I think the Denver Nuggets are a prime example of that because 2 years ago they win the championship. And not only did they win the championship, but it really felt like this could be the start of, I don't know if I want to say a dynasty, but you definitely saw the vision of how they could win multiple championships over the next 3, 4, 5 years because they have the best player in the world. They have this co-star in Jamal Murray, who, yeah, he's never made an all-star team, but he clearly steps up in the playoffs, right? Playoff Jamal Murray, that became a thing. Finals Jamal Murray, that became a thing. You have these complementary pieces that just fit so well around the two guys, but then also each other, and there's so much great chemistry and cohesion, and it all just made sense. And then you fast forward literally one season later, or one off season later, and just there's so many question marks about the Nuggets. So for starters, they lose KCP. That was such a bad move. One of the best 3-and-D perimeter guys in the league, super valuable guy to them. And I know he had his playoff struggles, and I know obviously you're gonna have to pay him, but there aren't so many guys. Like, one of the big reasons that everyone loved Denver getting KCP in the first place was the fact that there just aren't so many guys who can defend at a high level and shoot the three as well as he can in that complementary role, in that 3-and-D role. And to let him go for literally nothing is just so, it pisses me off when I think about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore, even though I probably still will. And now there's reports coming out about how Michael Malone and the front office GM Calvin Booth don't necessarily see eye to eye. You kind of understand how that might be the case because whereas Michael Malone is in this win now mode, he wants, the best pieces around him to win a championship. It's very clear that Calvin Booth and Denver's front office they're trying to save money. They're trying not to go over the second apron. They're trying to pay, they're trying to have it both ways. They obviously want to contend, but they also want to save luxury tax money. And you see that when they don't necessarily, they don't bring back KCP, and you see, I think they want, they want Michael Malone to, I think, play more of the young guys like Christian Brown and Peyton Watson and all the other guys, because I think, Denver wants to be able to find these cheap options who could still contribute at a championship level, while not obviously paying them as much as, say, a KCP. But if you're Michael Malone, you don't necessarily want to play rookies and young guys. You want to play guys who you can trust right off the bat, like a veteran two-time champion Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. So there's clearly that divide. There's also talks about how, Jamal Murray still hasn't signed an extension yet, and you sort of understand it from Jamal Murray's perspective as far as, hey, I helped win you guys a championship not that long ago. I deserve the max. But also if you're at the Nuggets, you say, hey, you struggled in the playoffs last year a lot. You have these knee problems that have come up time and time again. Never made an all-star team, all-NBA yet. So there's definitely that divide, and you assume it's going to get worked out, but you ultimately just don't know. And you zoom out and you look at Denver's outlook as a whole, and it's weird because one of the things a lot of people praised them for en route to the championship was how they were willing to spend the money needed to win a championship. That's always a question with any team, especially a small market team. Are they going to be willing to spend the money needed to win the championship? And they did, and it felt like it was the start of something special. But now it sort of feels like, now that they've won the championship, they're sort of like, again, they're trying to like have it both ways, where it's like, yeah, we still want to compete, we still want to contend, we want to be relevant, but we're not as, we don't have our foot as heavily on the gas as we previously did. We're sort of down to like stay relevant, but also try and save money where we can. We want to have it both ways. And I think it's such a disservice to the fan base. I think it's such a disservice to the team as a whole. It's such a disservice to Nikola Jokic, best player in the world, smack dab in the middle of his prime. I don't know why you're not doing everything possible to maximize his prime and put all the pieces around him that he needs, and you ride that till the wheels fall off, and it's going to cost a lot of money. But you know what? It's going to be worth it because he's probably going to bring you multiple championships. That's one of the things I will say about Joe Lacob. He definitely has some things worth criticizing, but one of the things that I always respected about him was that when this thing was right and when this thing was rolling and when the Warriors championship window was wide open, he had no problem spending upwards of, what was it, $500 million when you include the luxury tax, which was an insane amount of money. And it's something the Nuggets don't seem to be willing to doing, and you're starting to see the foundation of this team, the core, just start to crack. And I wonder just how far it's going to go, because it starts with losing KCP. I don't really know what's going to happen with these Jamal Murray extension talks. Obviously, you assume a deal is going to get done, but you ultimately don't know until you know. And then Michael Porter Jr. has 2 years left on his deal after this year, so his extension talks will probably start soon. Aaron Gordon has a player option for next season, I guess 2 seasons from now, not including, so 2026, that he will probably decline. And so just with the best player in the world firmly in his prime, it's going to be very interesting to see how the Nuggets try to, again, it seems like they just want to balance, competing, yes, but also trying to save money where they can. So how far are they going to take that, and what's it going to mean for Denver's title hopes? I don't know, and I'm fascinated to see how it goes, because literally just last summer it seemed like Denver could be the team that owned the rest of the decade, and now I just don't know.